Earth had always been at peace, with no sign of an extraterrestrial threat ever approaching. The vastness of space seemed too intimidating for anyone to venture into, and humanity had grown comfortable, assuming no one would dare invade. But this calm would soon be shattered, and no one could have predicted how quickly things would change. It all began when Earth's scientists received a strange signal, one they could not immediately explain. At first, they thought it was just another glitch in their satellite communication systems, perhaps an interference from nearby space debris. But the signal persisted, each transmission more distinct, more urgent. They quickly realized it wasn't random. It was someone, sending it intentionally, a message from beyond the stars. The signal was cryptic, with an eerie mechanical tone, and it was directed straight at Earth. As it was decoded, the translation revealed a chilling message: surrender or face total destruction. A wave of panic rippled across the globe. The message's simplicity was terrifying. It wasn't a plea for peace or a request for communication. It was a demand, a warning. Whoever sent this message was not interested in diplomacy. They were coming, and they expected Earth to submit. No questions asked. Immediately, Earth's leading scientists and military officials were summoned to a secret meeting. The fate of the planet rested in their hands. They needed to understand what they were dealing with, and fast. They had no idea who these mysterious beings were or how advanced their technology could be. For all humanity knew, this was the beginning of their end. Meanwhile, the global leaders, presidents, prime ministers, generals, came together in an emergency summit. The room was filled with tension as they discussed their options. Should they try to communicate further, attempt to negotiate, or should they prepare for war? But how could they fight against something they knew nothing about? The uncertainty was maddening. For hours, the discussions went back and forth until a report came in from Earth's defense systems. The news was worse than anyone had feared. Through advanced tracking systems, Earth's satellites had picked up the first signs of the alien fleet. Massive ships, more massive than anything humanity had ever seen, were heading directly toward Earth. Their design was unfamiliar, sleek yet ominous, with energy signatures that far outstripped anything human technology could match. As the reports flooded in, the room grew silent. The aliens weren't just threatening. They were already here, and they were coming for Earth. The first real glimpse of the alien fleet came as Earth's defense network tracked their ships through the void of space. The fleet was far larger than anything humanity had ever encountered. There were thousands of ships, some massive warships that seemed capable of destroying entire cities in one strike, and others smaller, stealthier ships that were cloaked, invisible to the human eye. The sight was enough to freeze the blood of any military leader. This was no minor skirmish. This was a full-on invasion. The size of the fleet alone was staggering, but it wasn't just the number of ships that was terrifying. It was the technology they carried. The ships were unlike anything Earth's scientists had ever seen. Some were cloaked, almost invisible against the backdrop of space, while others emitted energy readings that Earth's instruments couldn't fully comprehend. Their weapons were clearly advanced, designed for destruction on a scale that humanity couldn't even begin to understand. The mysterious ships slowly moved closer to Earth's orbit, their arrival imminent. A sense of helplessness took hold as humanity realized it was facing an enemy far beyond anything it had prepared for. The alien fleet had been planning this for a long time, and Earth was caught off guard. Every calculation, every plan to protect the planet now seemed inadequate against the overwhelming power of the invaders. But amidst the chaos, there was a flicker of hope. Earth's scientists had been working on defense strategies for years, always worried that one day, someone would come to threaten them from the stars. Now, with the alien fleet approaching, they had no choice but to activate everything they had. Yet even with their best technology and strategies, no one could be sure if it would be enough. The urgency of the situation left no time for indecision. Earth's leaders made a difficult choice. They would prepare for war. But they needed to move fast. The alien fleet wasn't waiting, and they had no intentions of giving humanity time to prepare. In a tense atmosphere, the countdown began. As Earth's defenses readied themselves, a final transmission from the alien fleet came through, its message clear: surrender or die. The world held its breath as humanity faced its first real test. The future of Earth now depended on the actions of a few courageous individuals. The threat from the stars had arrived, and the question was no longer whether Earth could survive, but whether humanity could rise to meet this deadly challenge. And as the first salvo of enemy ships moved into position, ready to begin their assault, the fate of Earth hung in the balance. Would humanity give in to fear, or would they rise as the underdog, fighting back against the alien invaders with everything they had? The battle was about to begin. As the alien fleet closed in on Earth, the weight of the situation became painfully clear. Humanity had always prided itself on its ingenuity, but it was now facing an enemy with technology far beyond anything they had ever encountered. The Earth's military and scientific leaders knew they had to act fast, but there was a glimmer of hope hidden in the shadows, a last-ditch effort that had been secretly developed, kept away from the public eye for years. This secret weapon was humanity's best chance of survival. Project Titan, as it was called, had been the brainchild of the world's brightest minds. A combination of artificial intelligence, advanced cloaking technology, and a series of orbital defense systems designed to protect Earth from any external threats. The project had been kept under wraps, hidden from all but the highest-ranking officials and scientists. The theory was simple: if humanity were ever faced with an alien invasion, Project Titan would be their last line of defense. The system was designed to be a game-changer. With the power of AI, Earth's military forces would be able to outthink and outmaneuver the enemy. The cloaking technology, which had been tested and perfected in secret, could make Earth's defense fleet invisible to the alien invaders, and the orbital defense systems were equipped with enough firepower to level entire fleets. But would it be enough? The moment had come to find out. As the first wave of the alien fleet breached Earth's orbit, the tension was palpable. The enemy ships loomed large on the radar, and their weapons glowed ominously. Without warning, they activated their destructive power. The sky above Earth lit up with brilliant flashes of energy as the alien fleet opened fire. Massive beams of energy ripped through space, heading straight for Earth. But just as humanity feared the worst, something unexpected happened. Earth's defense systems roared to life. The cloaking technology activated, rendering the human fleet invisible to the alien ships. The aliens fired blindly into space, their beams missing their targets. The Earth's fleet, now hidden in plain sight, swiftly maneuvered into position. With the advantage of surprise, Earth launched its counterattack. Drones, equipped with advanced weapons and cloaking capabilities, surged into space. These autonomous machines, smaller, faster, and more agile than anything the aliens had ever seen, sped toward the alien ships with deadly precision. Each drone carried a powerful weapon designed to breach the thick shields of the alien warships. The drones fired their payloads with pinpoint accuracy, striking the weak points in the alien ships' defenses. The battle above Earth quickly turned into a high-tech, high-stakes game of cat and mouse. Earth's fleet, now fully engaged, unleashed a barrage of missiles and energy blasts at the incoming alien ships. The sounds of orbital bombardment filled space as the Earth's forces fought back, each missile strike and explosion sending shockwaves through the alien fleet. But the aliens were not unprepared. Their ships were heavily armored, their shields nearly impenetrable. The fight was fierce, and humanity quickly realized they were not out of danger yet. But humanity's hope wasn't just in its technology. It was in its leaders, the individuals who had prepared for this moment their entire lives. Among them was Commander Alex Reed, a battle-hardened strategist known for his quick thinking and leadership skills. When the battle seemed to be turning in favor of the aliens, it was Alex who stepped forward to lead humanity's final stand. With cool precision, Commander Reed took command of the fleet. He gave orders, and every soldier, every pilot, every crew member fell into line. They knew the stakes. They knew the odds. But they also knew they couldn't afford to lose. Commander Reed understood the importance of every move they made. One wrong step could mean the end for humanity. Focus fire on their command ships. Alex's voice crackled through the comms, his tone calm but firm. We cripple their leadership, and the rest of the fleet will follow. No mercy. Under his command, the human forces coordinated perfectly. Fighters engaged in high-speed dogfights with alien ships, weaving through the void in a deadly dance of laser fire and missiles. The close-quarters combat was brutal as human ships dodged and counterattacked with stunning precision. The once invincible alien fleet was now facing a fierce, coordinated defense that they hadn't anticipated. Meanwhile, the orbital defense stations launched a new wave of devastating attacks. Laser cannons, powered by the most advanced energy sources humanity had ever developed, targeted the alien ships from above, cutting through their shields and damaging critical areas. The aliens were beginning to feel the pressure. Their ships, once confident and unchallenged, were now taking hits that they had not been designed to endure. As the battle raged on, the once imposing alien fleet began to fracture. Ships that had once seemed invulnerable were now being overwhelmed by the relentless assault from Earth's advanced drones and defense systems. The alien shields flickered and sparked, failing under the sustained bombardment. The first alien warship exploded in a burst of light, sending debris scattering into space. It was a victory, but the war was far from over. Commander Reed's face remained stoic as he watched the battle unfold. He knew that the loss of one ship wasn't enough to win the war, but it was a sign. Humanity had found a way to fight back. And with each passing moment, they were gaining ground. The once overconfident aliens were now realizing that Earth was not the easy target they had assumed. Humanity wasn't backing down. The first wave of attacks had been repelled, but the true test was still to come. The aliens were regrouping, adjusting their tactics, and Commander Reed knew that the real battle was only just beginning. The Earth's forces had to remain focused. They had to keep pushing, because there was no room for failure. This was the last stand. But for the first time since the invasion began, humanity had hope. They were no longer just fighting to survive. They were fighting to win. The tides of battle had shifted, but the alien fleet was not ready to give up. It had been only hours since the first wave of destruction, and yet the aliens were beginning to realize that they had vastly underestimated humanity. As the Earth's defenses continued to outmaneuver and overpower their most advanced ships, confusion and disbelief spread among the alien ranks. Their ships, designed to dominate and obliterate, were being torn apart one by Earth's unexpected might. Alien commanders scrambled to regroup, but their confidence had been shattered. The arrogance that had driven them to Earth, thinking this would be a quick conquest, was now replaced by fear. The first few explosions were enough to send ripples through the alien fleet. Their shields, once thought to be impenetrable, flickered and failed as Earth's high-tech weapons struck their weak points. The larger warships began to fall, one after another, each explosion a testament to the resilience of humanity. The aliens had assumed their technology would guarantee victory, but now their greatest strength was being used against them. The sheer power of Earth's forces was beginning to turn the tide of the war in humanity's favor. But even as the alien ships crumbled, they were not willing to surrender. They fought back with every ounce of strength, but now the stakes were higher than ever. For Commander Alex Reed and his team, the fight had become deeply personal. They were not just defending Earth. They were fighting for their lives, for their families, and for everything humanity held dear. Each move they made on the battlefield carried the weight of survival. Every second counted as they pushed forward, attacking the alien fleet with relentless precision. The pressure was immense, but Commander Reed was determined not to let the aliens win. His mind worked quickly, formulating strategies and adapting to the rapidly changing situation. The aliens had once believed themselves invincible, but now they were fighting an enemy that was just as determined to survive as they were. As the battle raged on, it became clear that the humans' courage was their greatest asset. Despite being outmatched in technology, they were driven by a survival instinct that the aliens could not comprehend. The humans fought not out of arrogance, but out of necessity. They had no choice but to win. The alien warriors, despite their advanced weaponry and superior strength, could not match the raw determination of the human soldiers. The personal stakes of the battle became painfully clear when two of Commander Reed's closest comrades, Bonner and Emma, fell in the heat of the fight. Bonner, a skilled pilot and a close friend of Reed's, had always been the first to charge into battle. His sense of duty was unmatched, and he had always placed the mission above his own safety. But in one fateful moment, as Bonner led a group of fighters to destroy a critical alien warship, he was caught in a blast that destroyed his ship. The explosion sent him spiraling into space, his body lost in the void. Emma, another brave soldier, died shortly after in close combat with an alien warrior. Her final moments, a desperate struggle to protect her comrades. Her death, a result of her unyielding courage, left a deep wound in the hearts of the human fighters. The loss of both Bonner and Emma hit the team hard, but it also fueled their determination. Commander Reed, though devastated by the loss of his friends, did not falter. He knew that they had to honor their sacrifice by continuing the fight. "We fight for them," he said to his team, his voice full of emotion but unwavering in resolve. "For Bonner, for Emma, we end this here and now." With a new sense of urgency, the humans launched a counterattack like never before. The alien forces, already struggling to regain control, were now facing a force fueled by raw emotion and an unbreakable will to survive. The human soldiers fought not just for victory, but for the memory of those they had lost. Each soldier pushed forward, knowing that the fight for survival would not be won without sacrifice. The battle escalated into a brutal clash of wills. While the aliens were technologically superior, their soldiers were now facing an enemy they could not predict. Earth's soldiers, now emboldened by their fallen comrades, fought with a fury that surprised even the alien warriors. In one particularly harrowing scene, Commander Reed and his team engaged in hand-to-hand combat with a group of elite alien warriors. The aliens, towering figures with advanced weapons, were formidable opponents, but the humans' survival instincts proved to be their greatest weapon. The battle was savage, a blur of fists, blades, and gunfire as the two sides clashed in close quarters. Alex Reed was in the thick of it, his movements precise and calculated as he took on the alien commander. Their fight was a deadly dance, the clashing of weapons and the sound of grunts and heavy breaths filling the space around them. Reed's strength, honed from years of training, matched the aliens' inhuman speed and power. Each strike brought him closer to victory, but he knew that the outcome of this battle would decide the fate of humanity. As Reed finally brought the alien commander to the ground, he looked around at his team, battered but not broken. The fight was far from over, but the aliens had finally begun to realize the strength of their human adversaries. They had underestimated humanity, and now they were paying the price. The humans fought with everything they had, their bodies exhausted but their spirits unyielding. The alien warriors, despite their advanced technology and strength, began to falter in the face of such determination. Slowly but surely, the tide of the battle was turning. The humans were no longer just fighting to survive. They were fighting to win. The emotional cost of the battle was high, but the human soldiers knew that they could not stop now. Their loved ones, their homes, and their way of life were on the line. Bonner and Emma's sacrifice was not in vain. As the battle raged on, the Earth's forces continued to fight with renewed vigor, their resolve stronger than ever before. With every alien ship that fell, humanity's victory grew closer. The aliens may have had superior technology, but the humans had something far more powerful: their will to survive, their sense of unity, and the legacy of those who had given everything for the fight. This was the turning point. The aliens would soon learn that underestimating humanity was their biggest mistake. After the initial wave of destruction, humanity found itself in the most desperate fight for survival. The aliens' immense power had forced Earth's forces to the edge. Yet they had one thing the invaders didn't: the will to fight. But with the losses mounting and time running out, it became clear that humanity needed to turn the tide. Commander Alex Reed and his team realized that their best chance of victory lay in something unexpected: the alien technology itself. As Earth's scientists scored through the wreckage of the alien ships, they discovered the first glimpse of hope. A chance to reverse engineer the advanced technology they had so recklessly fought against. Earth's military, working alongside the brightest minds from around the world, quickly set up a covert operation to adapt alien weapons to humanity's advantage. With the alien fleet closing in, every moment was critical. As Reed and his team worked tirelessly, the time came to modify the advanced alien technology, turning the tables on their attackers. It was a breakthrough. The aliens had once believed their technology was beyond the reach of mere humans, but they had underestimated Earth's ingenuity and resolve. Alex Reed led the charge as they began modifying the alien weapons, adapting them for Earth's use. What was once an alien energy cannon now became a humanity-designed weapon of destruction. Their engineers worked round the clock, implementing shields, propulsion systems, and targeting mechanisms that could now match the firepower of the alien fleet. Reed watched the operation unfold, feeling a surge of pride and determination as he realized humanity was not just reacting. They were fighting back. But it wasn't just the weapons that had changed. Earth's AI systems, once limited to defensive roles, were now reprogrammed to take offensive action. The artificial intelligence had always been a strong defense mechanism, guiding humanity's ships and soldiers in the early stages of the war. But now, the AI systems were upgraded to think like the enemy, to predict their movements, understand their strategies, and take control of alien warships. With a new level of intelligence, Earth's AI began targeting the alien fleet with ruthless precision, exploiting their weaknesses and using their own weapons against them. In the final phase of the battle, humanity was ready to launch the offensive strike. Alex Reed and his team knew that their next move would be the turning point. The alien fleet had already been weakened, and now it was time for the humans to push forward, delivering the final blow. The Earth's forces, now armed with alien technology and backed by their own advanced AI, launched an all-out assault on the remaining alien ships. The space around Earth became a battlefield of epic proportions. Orbital lasers blazed across the sky, cutting through the vast darkness as AI drones swooped down on their targets. Alien warships that once seemed unstoppable were now being torn apart, their shields unable to withstand the sheer force of humanity's new weapons. The humans, under the leadership of Reed, fought fiercely, aiming their weapons at the heart of the alien fleet. The flagship, once considered invulnerable, was now the target of every weapon Earth had. As Reed and his team led their final strike, the sense of desperation was palpable. The alien flagship, the heart of their power, became the focus of all humanity's efforts. Earth's ships, now equipped with alien weaponry and AI-driven targeting, launched everything they had at the flagship. The epic space battle reached its peak as a massive explosion ripped through the alien flagship, sending shockwaves through the battlefield. For the first time, the alien fleet was truly crippled, but the victory didn't come without a price. Amid the chaos, humanity's forces sustained significant losses. Reed's heart sank as he received word that several of his closest allies had fallen. The victory had cost them dearly, but it was a victory nonetheless. The alien flagship was no more, and with it, the heart of their invasion was shattered. As the alien ships began to retreat, humanity's final strike had made it clear that Earth was not to be underestimated. The AI-driven weapon that had disabled the alien fleet was a testament to the ingenuity and resolve of humankind. With the flagship destroyed, the remaining alien ships had nowhere to go. Their invasion plans were in ruins. Reed and his team, despite the heavy losses, knew that their fight had been won. The invaders had come to conquer, but instead, they had been sent running. Humanity had proven, once and for all, that they were not weak. No matter how advanced the enemy, the fight was over. The underdog had triumphed. In the aftermath of the battle, the surviving members of Reed's team stood together on Earth's surface, looking up at the stars. Though the war was over, the cost of the victory weighed heavily on them. The memory of their fallen comrades, Bonner, Emma, and so many others, would stay with them forever. They had fought for their homes, their families, and for each other. As they looked to the future, they knew that the lessons of this battle would stay with them for generations. Humanity had won, not because they had superior technology or unmatched firepower, but because they had the one thing the aliens lacked: the strength to keep going, no matter the odds. The invasion had been a test, and humanity had passed. They had shown the universe that they would not go down without a fight. The aliens had underestimated them, and now the universe would remember that. The battlefield was eerily silent after the final strike. The once vibrant expanse of space now littered with the remnants of the alien fleet. Commander Alex Reed stood amidst the chaos, his eyes scanning the wreckage of both alien ships and his own fallen comrades. The cost of this victory was not lost on him. As the last remnants of the alien invaders retreated from Earth's orbit, the reality of their sacrifice began to sink in. Reed looked around at the battlefield, at the debris floating in the silence of space. He had led his team to victory, but it had come at a cost. Bonner, his right-hand man, and Emma, the young soldier with boundless energy and a bright future, were both lost in the fray. The thought of their faces, of their lives that had been cut short, weighed heavily on Reed's heart. His hands, stained with the ashes of the battlefield, trembled as he reached for the comlink to contact the survivors. "Commander Reed," a voice crackled through the static, the familiar voice of Lieutenant Harris. "We've secured the area. The alien fleet is gone, but we've lost so many." Reed's mind raced, but there was no time for hesitation. He had to keep his team together, even in the face of overwhelming grief. As he looked out at the stars, he couldn't help but think of the soldiers who had given everything. Bonner, who had been the calm in the storm, always ready with a joke or a strategy to lead his comrades, and Emma, so full of life, who had volunteered to join the front lines despite her youth. They were gone, but their sacrifice had ensured that Earth survived. As the reality of their loss settled in, Reed gathered the surviving members of his team. The once bustling command center was now quiet, filled with faces marked by exhaustion, sorrow, and relief. He stood before them, knowing there was only one thing he could do now to honor those who had fallen. "I know that many of you are feeling the weight of this victory," Reed began, his voice steady but thick with emotion. "We've all lost someone dear to us. Bonner, Emma, and the rest of our brave soldiers who gave their lives to protect Earth. I stand here, and I ask myself, how can we ever repay them for their courage? How can we honor them?" The room was silent, each person feeling the enormity of what had transpired. Reed paused, his eyes moving from one face to another, as though drawing strength from the people who had fought beside him. "The answer is simple," he continued, his voice growing stronger with each word. "We honor them by continuing to fight. For their memories, for their families, and for the future they died to protect." A murmur of agreement passed through the room, and for the first time since the battle began, there was a sense of unity. The weight of grief, though still present, began to lift, replaced by a renewed sense of purpose. Reed's words had reminded them all that the sacrifices were not in vain. They had fought, and they had won. But the cost was real. It was a price they would carry for the rest of their lives. As the survivors began to depart to attend to the aftermath of the battle, Reed stood alone, looking out at the stars. His mind wandered to Bonner and Emma, and to the countless others who had not made it back. Their faces flashed before his eyes, but as he looked up at the sky, something stirred within him, a feeling of pride. Despite the sorrow, despite the immense loss, humanity had prevailed. They had taken on a force that was far more advanced than anything they had ever encountered, and they had emerged victorious. Back on Earth, celebrations had begun. The media covered the victory with a sense of awe, depicting humanity's triumph over the most technologically advanced species they had ever faced. The public celebrated, but Reed knew the truth. The fight was not over. Earth had won the battle, but the war against the alien forces would linger for years to come. The galaxy was vast, and Earth's victory would not be forgotten easily. The aliens would regroup, and the next time they came, it might not be so easy to defend. But for now, humanity had earned a moment of peace. As the alien fleet retreated, their ships fleeing Earth's orbit, Reed couldn't help but feel a pang of something unexpected: regret. They had fought so hard, and in the end, it had been the human spirit that had won the day. But the victory was bittersweet. The cost was steep, and the scars would remain for a long time. The faces of the fallen soldiers, Bonner, Emma, and the others, would forever be etched in his mind. "Never forget," Reed whispered, his voice barely audible. "Never forget their sacrifice." The alien fleet had retreated, and Earth was safe. For now. The war, however, had left deep scars. The heroes of this battle had given everything for the survival of humanity. As the surviving soldiers returned to Earth, they knew that their fight was far from over. The galaxy had learned one thing that day: humanity was not to be underestimated. The alien forces had expected an easy victory, but instead they had learned the hard way that Earth would fight back, no matter the cost. In the end, it was not just the advanced technology or superior tactics that had won the day. It was the human spirit, unbreakable, relentless, and always willing to sacrifice for a greater cause. The heroes who had fallen would live on in the hearts and minds of the survivors. Their names would be remembered, their legacy honored, and their sacrifices would never be forgotten. Earth had won. The skies that had once been filled with the ominous shadows of alien warships now gleamed with the light of a hopeful dawn. Across the planet, from the bustling cities to the quiet countryside, people celebrated the incredible victory. It was the kind of triumph that would go down in history. Humanity, against all odds, had faced an overwhelming alien force and emerged victorious. The alien invaders who had once mocked Earth's defenses were now retreating, their ships scattered, their forces defeated. But as Commander Alex Reed stood looking at the peaceful sky above, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Victory had come at an immense cost. The loss of his comrades, soldiers like Bonner and Emma, weighed heavily on him. Their sacrifice had made this victory possible, but at what price? And even as the celebrations rang out across Earth, a gnawing sense of unease tugged at his heart. The battle had been fierce, but something told him that the war was far from over. As Reed stood on the command deck of the newly secured space station, his mind wandered to the final moments of the battle. The alien fleet had retreated, but their defeat was not complete. Earth's defenses had held strong, and humanity's ingenuity had been its greatest weapon. The advanced AI systems, the cloaking devices, the drones, and the modification of alien weapons, all these had given humanity a fighting chance. But Reed knew better than anyone that alien technology would not stay dormant forever. They would regroup, they would plan, and when they returned, they would come back stronger. The alien forces had underestimated Earth once before. They had thought humanity was weak, a primitive species with no place in the vastness of the galaxy. But Earth had proven them wrong. Humanity had fought back with a ferocity that none could have predicted, and the alien invaders had paid the price for their arrogance. But Reed couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. There was something about the retreating alien ships, their swift exit from Earth's orbit, that told him they weren't finished. A sudden beep interrupted his thoughts. It was a signal from one of the surviving alien warships, an encrypted message. Reed's heart skipped a beat. Was it a trap? Had the aliens returned to launch another surprise attack? His fingers hesitated over the controls, but then, with a steady hand, he accepted the transmission. The screen flickered for a moment, and then a message appeared. An image of an alien commander, battle-worn and defeated, but with a cold, calculating expression. "This is Commander Zoran of the Valrax Empire." The voice came through, calm but filled with an undeniable threat. "You may have won this battle, Earthlings, but know this. Your victory is temporary. The Valrax Empire does not forgive. This war is far from over. We have already sent word to our allies in the distant sectors. You have made a powerful enemy, and we will return, stronger than before." Reed's jaw tightened as he listened to the words. The message was not just a warning. It was a promise that the aliens would not forget Earth's defiance. Reed's mind raced as he processed the implications of the message. The alien commander's expression remained unreadable, but there was no mistaking the weight behind his words. "We will return," Zoran's voice echoed through the command center. "And when we do, you will find that Earth will not stand against us a second time." The transmission ended abruptly, leaving Reed in stunned silence. His thoughts swirled in confusion and frustration. The victory had come with so many sacrifices, and now, just as they had begun to breathe a sigh of relief, the alien commander had delivered the chilling message that would haunt their future. Earth had won the battle, but the war was far from over. The galaxy had just seen humanity's resilience, and they would not forget it. But neither would the alien forces, and Earth would have to be ready for whatever came next. As Reed turned to face the officers gathered in the command center, he could see the same unease reflected in their eyes. They had been through so much, and the thought of another war, one even bigger and more devastating than the first, was almost too much to bear. Yet there was no time for fear. Earth had to prepare. The next war would be unlike anything they had ever faced. "We're not done yet," Reed said, his voice firm. "We've shown them what we're capable of, but now we need to be ready for what's coming. We need to rebuild, rearm, and strengthen every defense we have. Earth's survival depends on it." The officers nodded, their faces set with determination. Reed could see the fire in their eyes, a fire that mirrored his own. Earth had faced its darkest hour and emerged victorious. But now, that victory had become a rallying cry for what was to come. The alien invaders may have retreated, but they would return, and humanity would be ready. The rest of the world was still celebrating, still basking in the glow of their hard-earned victory. But Reed knew the truth. Earth's victory was only temporary, and the true challenge was yet to come. Humanity would have to unite once more, strengthen its resolve, and prepare for the war that would define the future of their species. As Reed looked out over the Earth from the command station, his gaze turned towards the stars. The darkness of space stretched out before him, filled with endless possibilities and endless threats. Humanity had just faced an enemy that had underestimated them, but the next time, Earth's foes would be prepared. Humanity's strength had been proven, but the real question now was whether they could survive the long road ahead. The war may have been just beginning, but Reed knew one thing for certain: humanity was not going down without a fight. The next battle would be even harder, but they would face it head-on, together, united, stronger than ever. And with that resolve in his heart, Reed turned and walked toward the war room. The future of Earth was uncertain, but one thing was clear: humanity would be ready for whatever came next. The battle was won, but the war had just begun.